Most likely, in the near future and in the future, massive missile and drone attacks on the territory of Crimea, temporarily occupied by Russia, will continue. This forecast was made by military expert, former spokesman for the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Vladislav Seleznev, in an interview with Obozrevatel media outlet. I think that the Ukrainian Defense Forces continue to operate within the framework of a specific plan aimed at the maximum emasculation of the enemy's military potential in the territory of the temporarily occupied Crimea. Massive attacks in the area of Sevastopol, Kazachya Bay, in the area of the 810th Marine Brigade, attacks on various military facilities in Crimea. This is a component of that same general plan aimed at implementing this mission, he noted. At the same time, Seleznev added that the fortifications and engineering structures that were intended to protect the Crimean bridge from the Black Sea are being destroyed, and this creates a window of opportunity. They are being destroyed as a result of the sea. Autumn and winter storms on the Black Sea do not have a very good effect on the Russian army's creation of fortifications. Not only are the boom barriers with which the enemy is trying to protect the Kerch Bridge being destroyed, but also the engineering fortifications on the coast, in the western and southwestern parts of Crimea in the Black Sea, Saki and Simferopol regions. It is obvious that such activity by the Ukrainian army, together with natural factors, is yielding results. The enemy is losing the corresponding defensive structures, which creates a certain window of opportunity for the Ukrainian army. At the same time, Seleznev emphasized that he does not see any preconditions for entering into negotiations with Russia. It is likely that in January and February, we will observe active military operations, the dynamics of which will directly depend on the resource capabilities of both the Ukrainian Defense Forces and the Russian occupation army, he noted. Recall that military expert Pavel Narozny noted that Ukraine is delivering effective strikes on occupied Crimea, destroying enemy military infrastructure. At the same time, as he emphasized, there are still many Russian military resources on the peninsula. According to him, the most significant achievement of the Ukrainian Defense Forces in Crimea over the past year is the destruction of enemy air defense and missile defense systems in huge quantities.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Saturday Russian forces lost up to a battalion of infantry during battles in the Kursk region this week. Speaking in an evening address, Zelensky claimed the battalion included both North Korean soldiers and Russian paratroopers. He added the losses were predominantly during 2 days of fighting in the past week. Months after Ukraine's shock offensive in the Kursk region, Russia has been on the offensive, leaving Ukrainian troops bloodied and demoralized. Since being caught unaware by the lightning Ukrainian incursion, Russia has amassed more than 50,000 troops in the region, including some from its ally North Korea. Precise numbers are hard to obtain, but Moscow's counterattack has killed and wounded thousands, and the overstretched Ukrainians have lost more than 40% of the 984 square kilometers of Kursk they seized in August. During his address, Zelensky also announced plans for meetings with international allies at the U.S. airbase in Ramstein, Germany, this week. He said the talks would focus on moves to strengthen Ukraine's air defenses. Dozens of partner countries will participate, including those capable of boosting our defense not only against missiles but also against guided bombs and Russian aircraft, he said.
Зараз вже готуємось до зустрічі в Рамштайні. На цей тиждень запланована зустріч. Десятки країн-партнерів, і серед них є ті, хто може збільшити нашу спроможність не тільки у захисті від ракет, але й у захисті від керованих бомб, від російської авіації. Будемо про це з ними говорити, будемо переконувати, життя потребує захисту тут і зараз в Україні. І системи ППО мають для цього працювати. Головком доповів також по ситуації в Курській області, зокрема, в боях сьогодні та вчора в районі тільки одного села Махновка на Курщині російська армія втратила до батальйону піхоти північно-корейських солдатів і російських десантників. І це відчуття.
The Israeli military released footage on Sunday purporting to show weapons it has claimed during its advance into Syria after the ousting of the Bashar Assad regime. The footage is said to show mines, anti-tank missiles and rockets seized in the area around Herman. An IDF statement said the weapons were taken away to be destroyed. Israel seized a swath of southern Syria along the border with the Israeli-annexed Golan Heights days after Assad was ousted by rebels, as well as seeking to target the country's military infrastructure through airstrikes. The capture of the buffer zone, a roughly 400 square kilometer demilitarized area in Syrian territory, has sparked condemnation, with critics accusing Israel of violating a 1974 ceasefire and possibly exploiting the chaos in Syria to make a land grab. Chancellor Olaf Scholz on Sunday condemned Elon Musk's backing of Germany's far-right party ahead of Germany's forthcoming elections. Scholz was reacting after Musk called the chancellor a fool after his coalition government collapsed in November and later backed the AfD in an opinion piece he wrote for a major newspaper in Germany. At an election campaign event in Berlin, Scholz said, "The crucial thing is that Mr. Musk has supported a partly right-wing extremist party and, as you can see, is not only acting in this direction in this country. And that is something we not only disagree with, I reject that." Scholz added that it was nothing new for Social Democrats to have to defend themselves against rich entrepreneurs. What is new, however, is the way and the algorithms Musk is using to do so. Musk had repeatedly supported AfD on X, and he even wrote that the AfD was the last spark of hope for this country. He also insulted federal President Steinmeier as an undemocratic tyrant. Scholz also commented on reports that he was planning a meeting with Russian President Putin soon. "That is a false claim. You can't do that," said Scholz. He described his political opponents from the center-right CDU party, who had made the claim, as deeply indecent. However, Scholz reiterated that he was still interested in a diplomatic solution to the Ukraine conflict and also in talks with Putin. Telephone calls were not ruled out.
Das Entscheidende ist, dass Herr Musk eine in Teilen rechtsextremistische Partei unterstützt hat und wie man sieht, ja nicht nur hierzulande in dieser Richtung agiert. Und das ist etwas, wo wir nicht nur nicht einverstanden sind, das weise ich zurück. Das ist eine Falschbehauptung. Sowas darf man nicht machen. Das ist zutiefst unanständig. Es gibt dafür keine Anhaltspunkte. Niemand kann über irgendetwas berichten, das auch nur irgendjemand darüber nachgedacht hätte. Und deshalb finde ich, dürfen auch die aufrechten Menschen empört sein, wenn mit Falschbehauptungen gearbeitet wird.